hit that subscribe button and the bell icon beside it to check out our latest videos before anyone else. Hi there guys, I'm Nikhil from GreedyTech and this is the camera comparison between the Nokia 6 2018 edition and the Redmi Note 5 Pro. On the rear, Nokia 6 comes with a single 16 megapixel camera with f2.0 aperture and Zeiss optics. On the front, it comes with an 8 megapixel camera with f2.0 aperture and 84-degree field of view. On the rear, Redmi Note 5 Pro comes with a dual camera setup with a 12 megapixel primary camera with Sony IMX486 sensor with f2.2 aperture and a 5 megapixel secondary camera with f2.0 aperture, which is used exclusively for depth sensing. On the front, it sports a 20 megapixel camera with Sony IMX376 sensor and f2.2 aperture. Now these are the sample shots taken in daylight and well-lit conditions. Nokia 6 supports auto HDR for the rear camera and Redmi still doesn't. So these are some pictures taken with HDR on. Both phones do a great job in HDR mode. On Redmi, images look dull and colors are warm, but on Nokia, images are bright with vivid colors. There is a huge difference in color reproduction, and I personally like the images from Nokia. Sharpness is equally good on both phones, and both phones take like a second to capture the shot. This was a difficult shot, and Nokia did a good job over here. Now these are some pictures taken with HDR off. Colors on Redmi are to the warmer side, and images on Nokia look a tad bit overexposed, and because of that, colors are slightly faded and it lacks sharpness in the overexposed part. Capturing speeds and focusing speeds are good on both phones. Now these are some macro shots. I didn't have any issues with focusing on both phones while taking the macro shots. But for some reason, camera app on Nokia 6 was a little buggy and it crashed and didn't respond sometimes. Now for pictures taken with HDR mode on, Nokia did a better job, and for pictures with HDR off, Redmi did a better job. If we go with auto HDR, we might see better results on Nokia. Now these are some pictures taken in portrait mode on the Redmi Note 5 Pro. Nokia 6 doesn't support this feature, at least right out of the box. Now coming to low light performance, in low light, images from Redmi look bright with more saturated colors. On Nokia, images look close to reality and a tad bit dull. Images from both phones look soft, but comparatively, images from Redmi look more sharper and cleaner. On Nokia, we can still see some digital noise. So in low lighting conditions, I'll pick Redmi as the winner. Now coming to selfies, both phones offer auto HDR, and these are some pictures taken with HDR on. Now with HDR on, selfies from Nokia look better with better color reproduction and better skin tones. On Redmi, images are slightly overexposed and colors look slightly faded, especially the blacks. In this particular image, Nokia has done an awesome job with exposure control and took a much cleaner picture, while on Redmi, image looked faded. Now these are some selfies taken with HDR off. Even for selfies taken without HDR, selfies looked better on Nokia and they looked a bit overexposed on Redmi. On Redmi, even the colors looked a bit faded and there is a noticeable difference in color reproduction. Capturing speeds are equally good on both phones. On the whole, I like the selfies from Nokia 6. Especially the auto HDR works better than Redmi. Now these are some portrait selfies taken on the Redmi Note 5 Pro. Sadly, Nokia 6 doesn't support portrait selfies, at least the ones sold in India right now. Now coming to low light selfies, in low light, selfies on both phones are soft. Redmi uses the dedicated soft flash and Nokia uses the display as flash, and both do an average job in very low lighting conditions. Just like in well lit conditions, Redmi overexposes the image so it looks brighter than Nokia's selfies. You can pick the winner in this round yourself, but I like the selfies from Nokia. Now coming to video recording, here's a sample footage from both the phones. So guys, this is a footage recorded using the Nokia 6 2018 edition and the Redmi Note 5 Pro. I have the Nokia 6 on the left side and the Note 5 Pro on the right side, and I am currently recording video at 1080p resolution at 30 fps. On Nokia 6 we can also record video at 4K resolution, but Redmi Note 5 doesn't support it. And as you can see, Redmi Note 5 Pro offers video stabilization while Nokia 6 doesn't. And by the way, audio is also from the phone itself, so check out the noise cancellation and stabilization offered by both phones. Nokia supports 4K video recording, while we can only record in 1080p on the Redmi Note 5 Pro. But Redmi offers electronic image stabilization, so the footage is much more stable. Nokia doesn't offer any kind of stabilization. Now coming to the footage itself, footage from Nokia is slightly overexposed, while footage from Redmi has good exposure control and colors have more contrast. Just for the stabilization, I'll pick Redmi Note 5 as the winner. Now coming to the front camera video recording, here's the sample footage. So guys, this is the footage from the front facing camera of the Nokia 6 2018 edition along with the Redmi Note 5 Pro. On the left side I have the Nokia 6 and on the right side I have the Note 5 Pro, and I'm recording video once again in 1080p resolution as that's the maximum resolution supported by both phones. On both phones, we can record video using the front facing camera at a maximum of 1080p resolution. Once again, on Nokia there is no stabilization, and on Redmi we have electronic image stabilization. So the footage is more stable, but the footage is not as wide as Nokia. Now coming to the footage quality, footage on Nokia is slightly overexposed, but has better exposure shift. When there is a bright background, it manages the exposure to make the subject look visible, while on Redmi, subject becomes darker. Now footage from Redmi has good exposure control, colors have more contrast, and has good dynamic range. For front camera video recording, once again I'll pick Redmi as the winner for stabilization. So guys, to conclude, both the front and rear cameras on Nokia 6 are slightly better than Redmi Note 5 Pro, but Redmi makes up for it in low light performance and video stabilization. You also get additional features like portrait mode for the front and rear cameras, so that's like a great advantage for Redmi. On the whole, in the camera department, I'll pick Redmi Note 5 Pro as the winner. So guys, looking at the sample pictures and the sample footage, which phone do you think did better? Do let me know by commenting below this video, and if you're planning to buy this phone, and if you're planning to buy either of these phones, use the link in the description, it really helps the channel. If you want us to make any specific video, tweet out to us with the hashtag AskGreedyTech on Twitter and we will try to make it as soon as possible. I'm Nikhil from GreedyTech signing off, have a nice day.